Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday. And welcome to a midday live stream. It was one of these streams that I just couldn't resist. I'm glad to see those of you that are actually tuned in. Welcome. I hope that everybody's being warm and being safe in this weather because still we're in a space where this weather is not favorable to us. Today we are doing this live stream coming right here out of Louisiana. Ella Goodie, a young lady who disappeared a few years ago. Y'all saw the title. Y'all saw the title. Her unaliver took a plea. Yesterday, he was in court. He was sentenced to life. And the end result still remains. Where is Ella's body? Welcome each and every one of you. Hey, Mimi, welcome to the chat, my love. Hey, says Rashina, welcome, boo. And before we talk about the court, before we talk about the plea deals that was made and the life sentence, I need to just let you all know who Ella Goodie was. If you're here, please hit the like button for your girl. Because somewhere along the way, when cases such as this drag on and the headlines begin to change, people stop being people. And in Ella Goodie's case, as well as every other case that I touch, I refuse to let that happen. See, we have to understand that Ella was not just a name on the dockets. She wasn't a victim. Ella was a mother. She was somebody's daughter. She was a sister, a cousin, a friend. And according to everyone that loved her, she was the light in the room wherever she went. She was the kind of young woman that gave rides to people that didn't even know her. Kind of person that believed in helping instead of assuming the worst. And that matters. That truly matters because that type of kindness is exactly how she crossed paths with the wrong person. Today or yesterday, the court said that justice was served. The court said life in prison for this monster was justice. The court said it was over. It was done. But I'm here to ask a different question. How do you call it justice when Ella's body has never been brought home? Hey, Marty, happy Wednesday. I see you, boo. Tracy, happy Wednesday, my love. Charlotte's Web, I see you, sis. Happy Wednesday. Somebody else. I'm Rosalind. Happy Wednesday, baby. We're not going to rush who Ella was. We're not going to sensationalize it either. We're going to build this story the right way. Because when you're talking about somebody's loved one, you have to deal with it the right way. And I need y'all locked in with me on this one because this case connects to a bigger pattern that we've been talking about on this channel for quite a long time. This case somehow brings us back to where we are with the Nazaya's case. And everything that I discuss here is based on court recordings, public document, and statements made by the family. This conversation is about accountability. It's about awareness. And it's also about honoring Ella's life. And as always, I ask that we keep the chat respectful. Hey, Tammy, welcome, sis. We could be honest and we can also be compassionate at the same time. For those of you that are in the clouds, welcome. You're welcome to join the chat. Those of you that's tuning in from the clouds, welcome to you as well. If you don't know who I am, I'm MOCA Unfiltered. Here I don't chase clout, I chase clarity. And if you've been rocking with me for a minute, Nola Bells and Nola Bows, y'all know what time it is. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button for Ella. Drop some prayer hands in the chat if you believe her family deserve answers. Replay gang, I'm going to shout you out now. I respect and I appreciate what you do for the channel. Let's talk about who Ella Goodie was before the crime, before the headlines, before the courtroom. Because we can't understand the injustice until we understand the human. Ella Goodie, young lady. Happy Wednesday, you guys. Welcome to the chat. Ella Goodie, a young lady out of Lafayette, Louisiana, a mother of two, very minor children. Ella, single parent, doing Lyft and ride shares for a living. Family described her as being the joy of the party. They said wherever she went, she brought energy. She brought laughter. She brought love. Hey, Natasha, welcome, baby. She was the type, they said, to give you her last. The type to help even when it wasn't her responsibility. And that matters. Because the very thing that made her special is the same thing that made her vulnerable. Let me ask y'all something real quick. Do you think young Black women, do you all think that young Black women are sometimes taught to be too giving? To help, to trust, to show grace, even when it puts them in danger? If you've seen this before, drop broken hearts. And if you've lived through it, just give me a Black heart, because sometimes we're taught to show love, understanding, and compassion, even when it's not given back to us. Ella deserved to be remembered for who she was. Absolutely, Rock. We are taught to be superwomen in every situation. Carnell, I see you, my love. Ella deserves to be remembered for who she was, not just for what was done to her. A mother, a daughter, a sister, a cousin, and a friend. Someone in her family described Ella as being everything a young woman could be. Her children, providing for them. For her family, always being there for them. And that type of humanity matters, because it also gets to explain why she moved the way she did in this world. Ella was living a real life before any of this happened. If you needed help, she showed up. And she didn't have to know you too well. And that's how a lot of our young Black women are raised. We're taught to be strong, kind. We're taught to help even when it costs us something. But sometimes that same generosity, that open heart, it puts us in harm's way, and that's not a flaw. That's a failure, in my opinion, of the world we live in to protect women like Ella. This didn't start with violence, y'all. It started with chaos. Complete chaos is what this started with. It started with a decision made in kindness on Ella's behalf. I said earlier, Ella did lift and ride share, and she gave a man a ride. Mina, I see you, my love. Happy Wednesday. Essie, happy Wednesday, beautiful. Ella gave a man a ride. That's it. That's all. She had no involvement with him. And Ella didn't know Brandon Francisco. That's his name, Brandon Francisco. She did not know him. She didn't owe him shit. She wasn't meeting up with him. She wasn't involved with him. She gave him a ride. The same way many of us have done before. Same way of a lot of our mamas taught us to do. If you can help, help. Brandon Francisco got in Ella's car as a lift ride share rider. He wanted a ride. He wanted a ride. He scheduled her to get a ride from Lafayette, Louisiana to Houston, Texas. Ella kissed her babies that morning. They were on their way to school. As most mothers do, hustling to provide for her children. Kissed her babies and told them, Mommy will see you when you get home. Ella picked him up. From there, they went to Houston, Texas, which is a 2.5-hour drive at the most. Somewhere along that road, somewhere between trusting the wrong person, giving a ride, and believing people mean no harm to you, Ella never made it back. And that's what makes this so sickening, is that the courts eventually confirmed what her family had already felt in their spirit. Ella never provoked him. She didn't know him. She didn't see this coming. While in Ella's car, one thing I could say, she knew the dangers of the job she had. Ella took her job seriously, protecting herself as a mother. She rode with protection in her car. He took Ella's protection and he shot her multiple times, taking her life. And then this same Brandon Francisco had the nerves, the audacity, after unaliving her, to keep driving in her car. Now, this happened somewhere between leaving Louisiana, going to Houston. Once it was done, he took her car and drove all the way to Missouri. And while he kept going, Ella was already gone. Where? Nobody knows. Because that wasn't bad luck and that wasn't fate. That was somebody seeing kindness and abusing it. And the reason that he's taken this ride with Ella, and what Ella didn't know, He was avoiding being caught by the authorities because he had warrants out for him in other parishes for redrum. So my thing is, if there were warrants out for him in other parishes for redrum, why? Why was he walking free? Why was he walking free? This was not a misunderstanding, nor was it two strangers crossing paths equally. This was a man running from his past and a woman who had no idea that she was being used. What Ella didn't know, what she could have not known, was that Brandon was running. He was running. It's not like a person calling a ride, lift, share because you're running late for work or stranded. He was actively trying to stay ahead of law enforcement. Ella didn't know this man's history nor his charges. She had no idea she was being pulled into something dangerous. She thought she was making money for her children, doing what she did daily. But Brandon Francisco, he knew exactly what he was doing. He used her car, her kindness, her trust. And once again, we see the same ugly pattern. A predator looking for an opening and finding it in the most vulnerable people. It wasn't Ella's fault. It wasn't her fault. How different, Chad, does this story feel to you all, knowing that he was already wanted for attempted redrum or for redrum? And Ella had no clue. Because to me, when I found out that he was already wanted, it made me angry all over again. Now that we know who Brandon really is, we know that he didn't just become dangerous after crossing paths with Ella. He was already dangerous. And the paper trail proved it. He wasn't a clean state stranger who snapped out of nowhere, because before Ella ever picked up him and got him in a car, he already had violence attached to his name. Somebody had already been unalived by this man. And instead of the system stopping him right there, instead of him being picked up, they allowed him to be on the run as if they couldn't find him. Walking around free enough to get a ride from somebody he didn't even know, and to get a ride across state line. And here comes Ella. And after her life was taken, the charges began stacking up. Exactly how you would expect when somebody shows you who they've been all along. Here he's charged with redrum, use of a firearm by a convicted felon, theft, because he took a car like it belonged to him, flight, because he kept moving across state lines trying to stay one step ahead, and then to use her own weapon to take her life. This man traveled Louisiana, Texas, Missouri, all states in between. He wasn't lost. He wasn't confused. He was running. The only difference is that Ella didn't survive. That's a pattern. And every time we see these patterns, It raises the same questions. How many chances? How many chances does somebody get before the system finally admits who they really are? Marty says only cowards, in my opinion, take plea deals because they don't want people to know why they do what they did because it don't make sense. And he's pathetic. Absolutely. Absolutely, Marty. Rock said it's a damn shame you can't even help people out here anymore. People are not the same, Rock. You have to be careful. People aren't the same. Hey, Travis, happy Wednesday, love. Marty says too many people take people's kindness for weakness, then take advantage of that person who helped them. He's sick and depraved. Now he left her two angels without their mother. Absolutely. Absolutely. You don't know who to trust. Rock, he was already wanted, and he didn't have to unalive her. Could have left her somewhere. People are demonic out here. Absolutely, they are. Knowing this man already had warrants out on him. This man should have already been locked up. Should have already been locked up. Then a plea deal. Brandon Francisco eventually took a plea deal. He took that plea deal back in November. They went to court on yesterday. The court says he'll spend the rest of his life in prison. Now, on paper, that sounds like justice. But let me tell you what that plea deal really did. That plea deal guaranteed the system a conviction. It guaranteed the state a win. It guaranteed that nobody had to sit through a long trial. But what it did not guarantee was the truth. It did not guarantee the truth. Because even after admitting that he shot Ella multiple times, even after admitting he disposed of her body, he still did not tell them where the body was. He confessed enough. Brandon Francisco, he confessed enough, y'all, to lock himself away. But not enough to bring Ella home. Not enough to give her daddy peace. And not enough to let her children put flowers on her grave. And that's the dirty part of plea deals. They trade answers for efficiencies. They trade truth for closures that only exist on papers. When I looked at that family yesterday in that courtroom, and they poured their hearts out, they begged, they pleaded, they cried, just tell us where she is. That broke me to pieces. Just tell us where she is. Some of the family members had to walk out because the pain was too much to bear. And what did they get in return? What did they get in return? Brandon Francisco turned around, smiled at those people, smirked, and even blew kisses. How inhumane. How inhumane. He's smiling, laughing, walking out knowing that he still holds the final piece of power. And the question is, Brandon Francisco, bitch, where is Ella's body? Where is it? Kamisha, hey, boo. She said, so MOCA, you mean to tell me that they gave this trash bag a plea without giving up Miss Ella to be returned to her family and they went for it? What has the world come from? Absolutely. Absolutely. This is sad. So when people say, well, at least he got life, what are you really saying? What the hell are you really saying? And the family, I love that family. That family said, justice ain't finished. I don't give a damn how good it looks to y'all on paper, because y'all didn't want to do the work. Y'all didn't want to do the work. That's why he was offered a plea deal. I don't care how good it looks to y'all on paper. That y'all got a conviction. We're not happy because justice isn't finished until we bring her home. Because locking a man up does not replace a burial. A sentence damn sure don't replace a goodbye. And that plea deal didn't in this case. All it did was seal the silence. That's all that plea deal did, was seal the silence. Let me ask y'all something. If a man admits to redrum but refuses to say where that body is, y'all, is that justice? Is it justice? If you think answers should be mandatory, drop an X in the chat. We're going to continue praying for Ella's family. Drop candles in the chat for Ella's family as they still wait. And if you're thinking what I'm thinking, life isn't enough without the truth. Life is not enough without the truth. Travis says, I used to work at a prison. They watch the news. He will pay dearly for that. Trust me. They're going to send him to Angola, one of the worst prisons in the world. He's going to pay for it, Travis. Rock said those inmates will handle him for sure. Absolutely. Marty said all these law agencies care about is their egos, patting their backs. Look how we protect and serve the public. Go sit down, you hypocritical motherfuckers. No justice for Ella, her sons and family. Find that lady. Absolutely, Marty. Absolutely. Hey, Pooh. Welcome, sis. Happy Wednesday. And this is where the issue gets even bigger. See, plea deals. Hey, Sister D. Thank you, boo. Plea deals is, these people don't, the plea deals that's being handed out to these people, right? Let me tell y'all something. Plea deals don't exist to heal these families. These plea deals exist to protect the system from exposure. Plea deals are not about justice. They're about convenience for the courts. A plea deal means we ain't having no long trial, no jury. We don't need no witnesses sitting on the stand answering uncomfortable questions, taking up the taxpayers' time and the money. They don't want the timelines to get pulled apart. They don't want the questions to be presented to them as to how long or why did this person stay free so long. They don't want the questions asked as to who dropped the ball or why wasn't that warrant executed. Miss Antoinette, I see you. Love. Happy Wednesday. That plea deal keeps everything nice and quiet. Why y'all think they offered Jarvis Butts a plea deal? It keeps everything nice and quiet. The state gets a conviction. The courtroom clears its calendar. Everybody clocks out like, hey, we've done our job. High five. High five, bro. We did our job. Everybody feels like justice is there except the family. Because here's the sick part. Once the plea is accepted, the pressure is gone. There's no incentive for him to talk. There's no leverage left. No reason for him to give up the only thing that he still controls, which is the truth. And that is, where is Ella's body? Where's Ella? Dr. J, I see you, my love. Happy Wednesday, beautiful. Where's Ella? And let's be honest, if this case went to trial, we would have heard a lot of things. Be careful, Dr. J. Hope you're staying warm, sis. If this case would have gone to trial, y'all, we would have heard things that the state didn't want public. We'd have heard about how Brandon Francisco, out on a redrum warrant, was still free. We would have heard about the gaps, the delays, the missed opportunities. We would have heard the system being exposed. And we would have recognized how those plea deals protected them. And every time a plea deal is taken without answers, families are told the same dressed up lie for comfort. Well, at least he's locked up. What the fuck you mean? Huh? I'm not satisfied with that. Travis says a plea deal makes the prosecution number go up. They don't give a damn about the families. Absolutely. Absolutely, Travis. So, what good is a locked door? What good is a locked door when the truth is still missing? This is how people disappear twice. Once when they're unalived, and then once again when the system decides knowing the full story is optional. Plea deals, in MOCA's opinion, are not about justice. In my opinion, I believe plea deals are all about keeping certain questions from ever being asked. And that's on the prosecution's part. Now, that courtroom wasn't quiet on yesterday. That courtroom was not quiet on yesterday, y'all. Ella's family stood up one by one, poured their pain straight into that courtroom. It was heartbreaking to see. Heartbreaking. Rashida says it's more about a conviction to the prosecution than to get the true answers for the family, and it's sad. Absolutely, sis. Absolutely. So it's like the families don't matter. Not only do the family don't matter, sis, but what makes it even worse is like the victims don't matter. Sister Rock said in a perfect world, they'd put him in a cell with a prison informant to help get the location of the body. But I don't know. They never really cared about us. That part. Thank you, sis. Purpose always over popularity. Ella's father, my heart went out to that man so bad yesterday. He looked at Brandon and Francisco in that court yesterday. And he said what a lot of parents feel but never get an opportunity to say. That man said that mother so-and-so, he killed my child. Life ain't enough. Y'all need to find a way to burn it. Burn it. I felt that in my soul. I was on the sideline cheering. Like, yeah, that's what this monster needs. That man wasn't using no fancy words, straight from the country, spoke from his heart. He wasn't worried about legalities in the courtroom at that moment. That man was broken. He wanted something, anything that looked like justice other than a damn plea deal. That plea deal saved Brandon Francisco from the electric chair, because that exists here. Ella's brother couldn't contain his words. He was standing there at that podium crying, trying to keep it all together, saying how devastating this has been for his family, and having to look Brandon Francisco in the face. Same monster that took his sister. He couldn't do shit about it. He said some things that I believe if they weren't in that courtroom, that would have been the moment Brandon Francisco took his last breath. There were several other family members that had to walk out because the pain, they couldn't bear it. And while they were crying, while they were begging for answers, just tell us where she is, Brandon Francisco sitting there laughing in these people's face, walking out that courtroom like he hadn't just ripped that family apart. And that's what killed it for me, because the court may have handed him down a life sentence, but that family walked away with lifelong grief and zero closure. They didn't get to bring Ella home. They didn't get to lay her to rest. They didn't even get to say goodbye the way families are supposed to. Instead, they were told by the courts, this is it. But how the fuck do you call it the end when the most important answer is still missing? Where's Ella? That courtroom didn't give that family peace. It gave them a sentence and sent them back to the same world, carrying unanswered questions and more fresher wounds. Ella's story hurts. But what makes it unbearable is realizing that this is not an isolated case. This is a pattern. Because the more you sit with Ella's story, the more it starts sounding familiar. A young black woman with a big heart. A man with a violent past still walking free, and a system that moves. Don't move until after somebody is dead, not before. We've seen this shit play out too many times. A warrant that didn't stop shit. Warning signs that didn't ring loud enough, and a life sentence handed down after the damage was already done. And every time this same thing happens, the court moves on and families are left holding questions instead of answers. Bodies are not found, stories unfinished. And let me say this, it's not about Ella ever being naive. It's never about her being careless. This is about how often young black women are expected to move through the world unguarded, while violent men move through it unchecked. Because if they'd have checked this motherfucker a long time ago, Ella would still be here. This is not about, well, she shouldn't have picked him up. That was her goddamn job. This is how generosity gets punished and history gets ignored until somebody ends up unalive. And when you line it all up, the warrant that was unchecked, the ride, the redrum, the plea deal, the missing body, it stops looking like a tragic accident and starts looking all over again like a system that waits for blood before it reacts. And that is why this case hits my nerves. Because deep down, a lot of us are thinking the same thing. If nothing changes, how many more Ellas will be out there? How many more Ellas will be out there in this same situation? Let me ask you all something. Does this feel like a one-off to you? Or does it feel like something we've seen too many times before? Does this feel like a pattern? And if this reminds you of other cases, please let me know. Same story, different name. Because I see it. I see it clear as day. Justice for Ella. Justice for Ella. Let me tell you something about Ella Goodie's family. From the moment Ella Goodie disappeared, her family did not go quiet. Not for a day, not for a weekend, not holidays. They advocated every single day. I saw it in real time. These people stayed in the news. They kept Ella's face visible. They celebrated her birthdays out loud, even without her body. They acknowledged anniversaries. They spoke her name on holidays when it hurt the most. They didn't let the world forget that Ella existed. Hey, my brother Abs, welcome, boo. Welcome. Love you, love you, love you. And Louisiana, y'all, let me tell you about Louisiana, this great state that I live in. People can say the most about Louisiana, but what we do, we show up for ours. Ella went missing. That family did not give up on Ella. That family celebrated Ella, showed love to Ella, even in her disappearance. And guess what, y'all? Louisiana showed up with them. Billboards stretched along I-10, covering the whole state, making sure anybody driving through knew her name. Permanent flyers were donated by companies, placed in stores, on corners. Every public business had a flyer of Ella Goodie. And then they refreshed them every month. Not faded, not forgotten. This is where I'm proud of where I'm from. Churches held monthly visuals for Ella. They had prayer circles. They called her name to the heavens and to the community. This was not quiet grief. This was loud love. This was a family saying, you will not erase. You will not erase our family member. Ella Goodie is ours. When families advocate like that, it sends a message. It tells them we're not hiding, we're not embarrassed, and we're not afraid of the truth, no matter what the hell it may be. Then there are other cases where a loved one goes missing and the families does the total opposite. No flyers, no birthday acknowledgments, no anniversaries mentioned, no community engagement, just silence. Sometimes even worse, carefully crafted stories that keep changing. And when that happens, people start asking questions, not out of judgment, but like, what the hell y'all really got going on? Because love don't usually go quiet when somebody goes missing. Love fights. Love shows up and love makes noise. Ella Goodie's family made noise. And because of that, her name never went cold. It never went cold. Chad, if somebody you love go missing, what do? Stay loud or do you go silent? Because if you believe advocacy keeps their names alive, give us some candles. Because these people advocated for Ella. And if you've ever seen a family fight like Ella's family did, please type in the chat for me. That's real love. Because Ella Goodie didn't just have a family. Ella Goodie had what Louisiana calls a village, and they stood behind her strongly from the beginning up until this conviction. She had a true village. And because of that village, Ella Goodie's name was never allowed to fade, even in her absence. even in that lady's absence. My heart goes out to them. Marty says laws need to be passed. Nobody, no plea, no trial, direct maximum security prison, natural life. Only time they can come out feet first. Absolutely, Marty. Absolutely. Marty says, why the offender suddenly the victim? Maybe someone in the same jail as that scabby crab. He still see the sun. Ain't not for long. I pray it's not for long. He has a rap sheet so long, y'all. And all of his convictions, all his charges deals with the abuse of women. And Ms. Antoinette said, well, we know that family in Detroit ain't shit. Absolutely. Absolutely. They need to go and look at this case, and they might learn some type of compassion. They might learn something. But I just wanted to come out here. And for those of you that don't know the story, you could follow the story. I wanted to end this the same way I started, with Ella. Ella was somebody's daughter, somebody's mother, cousin, sister, and friend. No, Miss Antoinette, Ella was a mother of 2 young children. Ella offered a ride, not offered. Ella was hired as a Lyft driver, Uber driver. And she took this young man as a paying customer across the state lines. Ella had no idea that this young man was running from charges, running from the law. In turn, he unalived Ella. Ella's body has been missing since 2022, and they still have not recovered Ella's body. He took a plea deal and still have not disclosed where Ella's body is, Miss Antoinette. Yesterday, he was sentenced to life in prison. He's on his way to Angola. But the family still don't know where Ella is. Ella was a woman whose family refused to let her name die. She was a woman whose community, Louisiana, refused to let silence win. And let me tell you about this. And that's why I say, even in the Jarvis Butt situation, that trial should have been moved. Right? Because what Louisiana did. He went to court. Yeah, he took a plea. But that case was tried so far away from where all of this shit unfolded, to whereas the judge couldn't be biased. And even if they were supposed to get a jury trial, nobody could have been biased, because all of this took place so far away from where it actually happened. That's why I can't understand Detroit moving the way that they are. Kenyatta, hey boo, happy Wednesday. But Ella's family, baby, I love those people. They made sure that Ella's life mattered before a courtroom could ever say it did. Before a courtroom ever got an opportunity to say things that they should have not been saying about Ella. That family put her out there face first for the world to see exactly who Ella was. A loving mother, a loving daughter, a sister, a friend. She was truly that girl. To yesterday, Brandon Francisco got life in prison. But Ella's family is still waiting on something that the system couldn't give them. And that was to bring her home. And until that happens, justice is still incomplete. Still incomplete. Sheena said, yeah, I think all trials should be moved to another district as well. Absolutely. Miss Antoinette said, some people think that if there is nobody, then they can get away with unaliving folks. Well, the world is here to tell them different. But I didn't come out here for a long time. Marty says all he had to do was tell her, get out of the car, living and breathing. But oh no, the coward that he is, couldn't do that because he wanted nobody to tell who he was, what he was driving. It's all up to him with his worthless ass. Marty, absolutely. And then Marty, the nerves of him, unalived her in her own car, drove right through the very same state that she picked him up, drove all the way to Missouri. The authorities located her car parked at one of his friend's house. So he had somewhere to run. So clearly the friend had to know what was going on too, because when they located the car, they found all Ella's blood on the floorboard in that car, in that friend's driveway. We have to be careful of the people that we call our friends, because we don't know what's going on in these people's heads. We don't know. We don't know. And that's where he was arrested. He didn't get arrested in Texas. He didn't get arrested in Louisiana. He got arrested in Missouri with Ella's car right there with all the evidence in it. So again, like I said, I just felt to bring this story to you all. And if there are any later updates, I will update you all. But this story touched my heart and had been touching it for years. But to see that family break down the way they broke down in that court yesterday said it all. So I'm not going to keep you all long because we're going to be back out here again tonight. But if you're watching this and you have a loved one who's missing, please don't go quiet. Make noise. Say their name. Get uncomfortable. Make the people uncomfortable. Do like Ella Goodie's family. Involve the community. Because being silent don't ever protect the truth. And if you're watching this thinking this could never happen to you, remember, it only took one act of kindness on Ella Goodie's part. Ella could have said, no, I'm not gonna accept this money for this job. But Ella thought about her children. That was the way she provided for her children. To Ella's family, if you ever run across this live stream, I see you. I'm with you. Louisiana sees you. And to the community that never let a name grow cold, that matters more than you know. And this conversation moved any of you. Do what you know to do. Like the stream. Share it out. Say Ella's name in the comments, because as long as we keep talking about her, Ella's not forgotten. And that is love. Something Detroit knows nothing about. Family need to learn to stick together. Not only in the good times, but the bad times too. One thing about Ella Goodie's family. One thing about Louisiana. If we could party with you when things are good, if we could dance, swing out, clap our hands, drink and gamble when things are good, We're going to do it even worse when things are bad, because now you got all our attention. We are not those people. We are not those people. Our hearts are big. We care. And I'm so proud of how these families advocate for theirs. Ella was an adult, and her family didn't let it go away. So I can't understand why Detroit ain't upside down for Naziah Harris, a 13-year-old who couldn't protect herself. That speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. So guys, we're going to roll up out of here. I said I was only going to come out for an hour. Do what I do. Welcome, guys that came to the chat. Y'all catch that replay. Catch that replay. Hit the like button on it. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. And just know MOCA's going to be back out here tonight. We're going back to Detroit tonight. Because over here, we're purpose over popularity. And justice don't end with a sentence. Justice ends putting in the work. Detroit ain't shit, Rob. Ain't shit. Detroit ain't giving that family answers. The family ain't pushing for answers. The family's sitting up there like Naziah didn't belong to them. Like she never mattered. And they're okay accepting the what ifs or the what wasn't. So guys, I love you all. Appreciate each and every one of you that tuned in. And MOCA's going to see you all tonight. God bless. And enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Welcome to MOCA, no love bills. Hit that like button, you might break the scale. If you can't join the membership, still ride for free. 99, yeah, we lit in here. Comments popping, energy rocking, we all shine. We here to stay. Drop truth, not tea. You ain't gotta pay the vibe. Hit that like for free. Every panel on fire, every topic gon' trend. If you ain't a member yet, you still a friend. Amen. Got love for the real, was no time for the mess. We keep it authentic, that's no labels at its best. Welcome to MOCA, no love bells. Where the truth ring loud like church bells. Like, comment, subscribe, free 99 if you ride. We don't fake the vibe. We gon' live, we outside. Welcome to MOCA, no love bells. Where the truth ring loud like church. Subscribe, free 99 if you ride. We don't fake the vibe. We go live, we outside. It's MOCA and the crew, we the talk of the streets. Bring the real back to YouTube, no scripts, no beats. We laugh, we drag, we educate too. All the bells in the chat know how we do. So tap in, lean back, sip your drink real slow. Let the haters keep watching, we steal the show. From MOCA to NOLA, we hold it down steady. Platinum plus approved, that girl stay ready. Welcome to MOCA, na na bells. Pure, real talk. She ain't following a trend, she lead her own walk. No cameras, my mic check with no lights on blast. But every episode hit like first class. We ain't gossiping, we testifying, keep it bold. Every story got a lesson that need to be told. So hit that bell, join the ride in style. Welcome to MOCA, stick around for a while.